Welcome back to part 2 of this series where I'll be breaking down the English name origins of every Animal Crossing New Horizons villager. This video will cover every villager whose name starts with the letters D through J. If you want to hear about all the villagers whose names start with A through C, check out the previous video in this series, and villagers K through Z will be coming out very shortly. But without further ado, let's begin. The first villager for this video whose name starts with the letter D is Daisy. Daisy's fur color mimics the coloring of a daisy flower. While Dina's Japanese name refers to her algae green color, her English name is more basic. Dina is a duck. Both Dina and duck start with the letter D. This name may look tricky to pronounce, but it's pronounced as Deirdre. Knowing that, it makes it very clear why Deirdre, the deer, is named this. Del is designed to mimic a naval ship, so his name comes from the Delaware ship. Monkeys can be found roaming around the streets of Delhi, India. Delhi's name comes from that Indian territory. Derwin's name could be a reference to Charles Darwin, the scientist who studied evolution. Although Darwin did not specifically work with ducks, he did study finches. Derwin's name could also be because he is a duck, and Derwin and duck both start with the letter D, just like Dina's name. Diana's name comes from the Roman goddess Diana. In a mythological tale, Diana turns a huntsman into a deer. A diva is a term that means a woman who is a glamorous performer. With Diva's makeup look, she certainly looks like a diva herself. Dizzy is portrayed to be very childish. Dizzy's name is meant to imitate his childlike wonder. Spinning around carefree makes you dizzy. Dobby's name origin is complicated. I found 3 potential reasons for his name. The first I found is that Dobby could be short for Doberman, a breed of dog. I think this is the least valid as Dobby looks nothing like a Doberman. In reality, I think Dobby could be named after one of 2 potential figures. First is Dobby Gray, an R&B musician. The other possibility is J. Frank Dobby, a folklorist. My belief is that he's named after Dobby Gray, the musician, as Dobby is also gray in color. Doc is a bunny rabbit, and there's a famous bunny with the catchphrase, "What's up, Doc?" Dom is a jock-type villager, and his name is a shortened version of Dominate. Dom dominates those workouts. Dora is my birthday twin, and my twinnie's name comes from her being a dormouse, a type of mouse. Dottie's name highlights the large black dots on her arm and face. Drago is an alligator said to look like a dragon. Drago is in the word dragon. A male duck is known as a drake, and drake is a male duck. Drift's name comes from driftwood, a piece of wood that frogs can sit on as it floats in the water. Ed is named after a famous TV horse, Mr. Ed. Egbert's name has egg in it. Chickens lay eggs. In part 1 of this series, I said that I struggled for a while to find the reasoning behind Benjamin's name. Well, Elise is the Benjamin of this video. Elise's Japanese name is Monko, because she's a monkey, but I spent, no joke, 30 minutes just on Elise trying to find out why the English localizers at Nintendo went with this name for this girl. Eventually, I based it on her Japanese name. If Elise is Monko in Japan, I thought perhaps Elise was named after a specific type of monkey. The closest I could find is the Atelidae classification. This is the classification that includes howler monkeys and spider monkeys. I think the EL and Atelidae is then lent to Elise, but there's not a real clear specific reason. So please, if you are watching this video and you have a better suggestion or idea of where Elise came from, let me know in the comment section down below. This one pained me for so long while researching this video. On the opposite of Elise, the next name is very easy to figure out. We have Ellie. Ellie is an elephant. Elmer is a horse, and back in the day when horses were unable to race anymore, they were sent to factories to be turned into glue, and Elmer is a popular glue brand. Eloise is an elephant. Her name starts with the same 2 letters as elephant. Lions are known as the king of the jungle, and Elvis Presley is known as the king of rock and roll, so Elvis the lion is a king in 2 different ways. Eric's name comes from the word elk, an animal in the deer family with large antlers, much like Eric does. Étoile is a French word for star. Étoile is one of the Sanrio villagers based on the characters Kiki and Lala, who are known as the little twin stars. Eugene relates to the eucalyptus plants that koalas eat. Eunice is a female sheep. Ewe is the term for a female sheep. Once again, we have a villager with an English name that was way too hard to define. Faith is a koala, and her Japanese and Italian names have clever meaning. The English one is not that clear. After a lot of research, in spirituality, koalas symbolize tranquility, peace, and protection. In some religions, faith and spirituality are interchangeable words. So I believe that if you put your faith in a koala, you'll be rewarded with a tranquil life. Wolves have sharp canine teeth, which could be considered as fangs. Fang also has my all-time favorite Japanese name. I know I said in part 1 I wouldn't be breaking down the Japanese names, but I'm going to give special exception to Fang here. In Japan, he's known as Siberia, which I love because Fang's species of wolf comes from Siberia. A fawn is a young deer. Fauna is a young deer. Felicity is a cat. Cats are a type of feline. Felicity and feline start with the same 4 letters. Filbert is another name for a hazelnut, and since Filbert is a squirrel, he likes nuts. Monkeys are very active and can flip around on trees, so Flip gets his name from there. Flo's name comes from the term ice floe, which is a flat sheet of ice floating. Since Flo is a penguin, she has connection to ice. Flora is a flamingo, and flamingos live in Florida. Flurry is a white hamster, as white as a snow flurry. Francine's name is an Americanized version of her Japanese name, Furansowa. Francine is also a girly, preppy name, just like her sisters. The feathers and plumage on Frank are representative of the colors of the flag of Jamaica. In French, Frank's name connects to his Jamaican roots, but in English, I believe his name is more just a rhyme. Frank is a cranky type. Frankie is cranky. Freckles has little freckles all over her face. To fret means to worry, so Fret the dog here is anxiety-ridden. In Norse mythology, Freya is the goddess of love, beauty, war, and wealth, so she does it all. Wolves are also prominent in Norse mythology, and the gray wolf is prevalent in Scandinavia, so Freya's name is very interconnected to that region and mythology. Frigga's name comes from the word frigid, which means cold, and many penguin species live in frigid regions. Frida is styled to look like a hamburger, and you know what goes really well with hamburgers? Fries. Fritas means fries in Spanish and Portuguese. Frobert is a portmanteau of frog and Robert. Fuchsia is a pink, which matches with Fuchsia's very pink fur. To gab means to talk, so Gabby is a bunny who talks a lot. Gala is a type of apple. I love gala apples. They are so tasty. Apples often get stuffed inside the mouths of cooked pigs. Gaston is a little French bunny. His catchphrase is French for my dear, and in Wild World, his favorite phrase is sacre bleu. Gaston is a common and stereotypical French name. Think Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. Gale is an alligator. I don't know. It works. Genji is a significant term in Japanese history and culture. First, Genji's name could refer to the Genji era in Japan, which took place in the 1860s, or it could come from the Tale of Genji, which is from the 11th century and is considered the first ever written novel. Gigi is styled after Marilyn Monroe, like a lot of other villagers here, with the blonde hair and the beauty mark on her face. Although Marilyn never played a character named Gigi, she did attend the premiere of the 1958 film Gigi, wearing a gown and gloves just like Gigi the Frog does. I don't think the localizers were that specific, but I do think Gigi is just meant to look like a rich and beautiful woman of the 50s and 60s when the name was the most popular. Gladys is a normal type villager with a normal type name, but beyond that, the name may derive from the Everglades, a wetland park in Florida where cranes live. Gloria is named after the silent film actress Gloria Swanson, and in Japan, her name is Swanson. Goldie is a golden-colored dog, a golden retriever. Gonzo is an interesting little koala because his name is similar to the theme of mice villagers. His name is a shortening of the cheese Gorgonzola. Gonzo is a big cheese fan, as his favorite saying is brothers are brothers, cheese is cheese. Although Goose here is a chicken, he is named after a different type of fowl, a goose. Graham has ham at the end of his name. Graham is a hamster. Greta's name comes from the Greek word margarites, which means pearl, and Greta's face is pearl white. Grizzly is a species of bear, so Grizzly is a grizzly bear. Groucho's name comes from the word grouchy. Grouchy is a synonym for cranky, and Groucho is a cranky type villager. Gruff's name comes from the Billy Goat's Gruff story. Gwen's name comes from when you mispronounce her species. She is a penguin. Kind of like with Gale, it works if you mispronounce it. Hamlet is a hamster. Humphrey is a hamster. Hans is styled to be like a Yeti over the Alps. Hans is a very stereotypical and common name in Germany where the Alps border. Harry has facial hair, which means he is quite hairy indeed. Hazel is named after the hazelnut, and squirrels like nuts. Henry's name comes from the Brothers Grimm story The Frog Prince, which is also called Iron Henry. Hippo is a hippo. Yes, the X is silent in his name. Hopkins is a rabbit. Rabbits go hop. Hopper is a rock hopper penguin. Hornsby is a rhino that has a horn on his face. Huck's name comes from the story of Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn. Now you may be curious, what does Huck Finn have to do with frogs? Nothing. But Twain wrote another story called The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, so Huck is the jumping frog from that story, but named after a different Twain story. Hugh's name comes from the vibrant hue of blue that he is colored. Igley's name comes from an igloo, a structure made out of ice, and being a penguin, Igley knows quite a bit about living in and around ice. Ike's Japanese name is Daiku, so Ike is just an English shortening of that name. Ione's name comes from the Greek nymph in mythology. Jacob, or Jakey, is a J bird. Jacques is a DJ, spinning tunes on his tables. DJ stands for disc jockey, so jock, jockey. Jambette comes from the French word for legs, jambes. Frog legs are a popular food in France, and the et at the end is added to feminize it. J is a J bird. In the song Joy to the World by Three Dog Night, it begins with the lyric, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. So Jeremiah the frog's name comes from that. Jitters refers to the shaking that occurs when you drink too much coffee. Jitters the bird is colored and styled to look like the Brazilian flag, and Brazil is the largest producer of coffee in the world. According to the Animal Crossing wiki, Joey is possibly named after Joey Tribbiani from the TV show Friends. I guess that's fine, but I think there could be a stronger connection, but everything I read about this duck led me to Friends. Again, like I said for our previous villagers, if you have a better idea of where Joey's name come from, let me know, but for now, it seems that Joey, the food-loving duck, is named after Joey, the food-loving friend. Judy's name also does not have a clear explanation, but I believe that her name comes from the word dye, like the substance that allows you to change colors. So Ju Dye has a variety of colors on her fur, almost like it is dyed vibrantly. Julia's Japanese name is Julia, so this is just an anglicized pronunciation of that name. Julian was born on March 15th. The middle of March is also known as the Ides of March. The Ides of March is a phrase closely associated with Julius Caesar, so Julian and Julius are similar names. And finally, we have June. June's Japanese name is May because she was born in May. Why she was renamed to a different month in English is not clear, but June does wear beautiful summer florals, so it could be relating to summer beginning in the month of June. That covers every villager whose name starts with the letters D through J. Again, if you want to see part 1 of this series, you can go check it out. The next video of this series will cover letter K through P, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss when the next video in this series comes out. Which villager in this video has your favorite name origin? And stay tuned, I will be back soon with another video. Bye!